Hey, welcome back to the Virgo Channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to do a general message for Virgo. Know that energy is fluid, roles could be reversed. Interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also, know on this channel, I like to dive deep within the reading, so I do look at everything, but we take more time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, and see how they play it as karmic themes. This will allow you to understand why everything's happening the way that it is. And what is the spiritual significance to what's happening, really? I mean, we do look at everything as I just said, but what's really important with the shadows is to look at the behaviorisms, to look and see how you are contributing to what's happening. A lot of times we get stuck in what the other person does. So what we always want to do is be able to shape shift the energy, change the energy through seeing it through a different perception. That's all that means. Shape shifting it actually means also embodying the energy. But really the healing part is seeing it through a different perception. And that allows you a lot of times to not have that strong psychic connection with that person anymore. When you're not vibrating at the same vibration. So, you know, not all the time do we want, not all the time do you even want the person back, but you want to know what created that energy, what made that person be able to come to you. They say you're a magnet of whom what comes to you. What is it that you're radiating out? Why? Because you don't want to like attract another person with the same types of behaviorisms. And that happens. We see people that continue to live the same karmic themes. And that's, being with a person that makes you feel inadequate, being with a person that, undervalues yourself, being with a person that like is always deceiving and trying to betray you in some way, being able to break the karmic cycles allows you to transcend the limitations of your mind. And then you're able to attract something different into your life. Otherwise, you're still embodying the old consciousness because, hey, you went through the experience and you embodied that trauma. So you know what that feels like. How do you manifest? Through the thoughts that you think, the emotions that you have. So again, unconsciously, on an energetic level, until you actually integrate that spiritual lesson and transmute the negative energy by doing something different, you're always going to be stuck in a loop. Now, want to enter into a free reading with me? Like the video, subscribe to the channel, write the word of the video in your comment bar. The word of the video is always on the first card that I pull out, and it's the underlining energy that tells us why everyone's doing what they're doing. Lately, I've been pulling two cards, but you only have to write the one. Anything of any importance, including the word of the video. If you forget it, it'll be in the description box. All right, let's jump in and see what's going on. The word of the video is disgust. Disgust. I feel like that's your energy. Like you got to a point where you're like, I'm over it. I'm over it. And it's because I feel like you're connected to someone that's very stubborn, that they're so prideful, that it's, again, they don't want to like shatter their self-image of, they like being perceived as if they don't care as much as they, as much as they do. And maybe in the beginning they didn't know. Well, give them that. Because a lot of times when we see somebody of a lower vibration, there's a sense of, they're unaware of how unawake they are. But after a while through this separation, what you know is that this person is still energetically connected to you. And you only are energetically connected to somebody if you're thinking about that person. And then there's an emotional connection. ESP through the heart and mind is what transcends lifetimes. So the person can't say, oh, I didn't think about you at all. You can feel when the person's there. So it's almost like, why stay connected? Why stay connected if you're not going to do anything? Like it's like almost like holding out, acting like they don't care as much. Honor. So again, like there's a sense that I feel like this was um, a very strong connection, like a very spiritual connection, where maybe words weren't given, but there was a sense of this knowing. And also, when there were conversations, that the conversations were open, that you shared a lot when you were in person with this person. Like sometimes they'd tell you a lot more than they intended to tell you because they felt very comfortable with you. However, they didn't honor you. So, what I feel like you're disgusted because when there's a spiritual connection, it's sacred. It's not, it doesn't happen all the time. It's not like it happens. It happens to everybody. Everybody has a spiritual connection with somebody, okay? Like on a past life, soulmate level. Okay, everybody has that because we incarnate with people that we have incarnated from for several lifetimes. And so there's spiritual lessons that need to be learned. And so there's a sense that again, this in this lifetime, this person is like not learning the lesson. It's like caught up in the same lesson. So the disgust isn't just from this lifetime. I feel like it's from all the past lifetimes. But now you're seeing this person through really very clear perception. It's not jaded perception. Like you're not looking through rose colored glasses anymore. You're seeing that this person for really who they are. And they're arrogant, they're stubborn, they play games, they hold back, but really it's immature. But what damaged this connection is the lack of honor. It's the innocence of the connection is robbed because of this person, whatever they did. We're going to look and see what they did, but it's not really important. We get the hint of it, but we'll look anyway. I feel like this person like just has over the top behavior. Could they create drama for control? So that could be talking to other people, lower energy type people, to try and create triangulation, which is trying to make you insecure, not giving you time, like just creating drama because I need you to stay connected, but I don't really, not that they don't want you to, they wanted you to stay connected to them, but they didn't, that you triggered them, and you triggered them because you were too confident. So it was almost like as a way to knock you off your edge, per se. Like, because this person's insecure and you were not insecure, you're in a high vibe when you met this person, you were feeling good about your life, which is why you were able to attract love into your life, even though that you might say that's what it looked like, and that's what it looks like because the person's wounded. But you triggered them, and you triggered them because you're confident, you know where you're going. And most of the people that this person deals with are not confident. So your confidence brought out this person's insecurity. And in order to gain control, they wanted to make you feel insecure. So it was like over the top. And then and when you would ask them, I feel like to even have a conversation like, I know what you're doing or whatever, they'd be like, you you don't know, that person's my friend. That person, oh, you're so jealous. Like almost like it's so obvious because of how you're reacting that you're guilty. It's like a second chakra imbalance. When a person is overcompensating to try to prove their point because they know that. So again, just not honoring you. Again, and I would say treating you with respect. That means, dating you alone, giving the connection. It should be equal, give and take, reciprocity. This person, like, they don't give properly. It's more about controlling, and it made you tired because it's very draining because of the emotional ups and downs, which staying connected to this person in the beginning, which I feel like you guys did, because you don't really know at first. And you always want to give the person the benefit of the doubt, which is what I feel like you guys will like saying in your minds, but understand that's saying that your confidence isn't where it should be, because spirit's saying person that's deliberately doing that up down, in out your life, in and out of your life, they're doing intermittent manipulation, which is like trains you. It trains your brain to go into survival mode, so you become more paranoid. You become, it's part of the dark arts, where, like, again, like with like how you have psychic energy that's positive. Well, when someone does that, the in out, and they're training you, they're conditioning you. And if you're putting up with it, eventually you will have a low self-esteem, and it allows for attachment. And this is where the person wants you to commit, like almost like right away, but they're not going to maintain that. That's not real. That's coming from a place of lust. That's coming from a place of I want what I want. But understand, it's attachment is I need, where in order for this person to like maintain their own energy. And when you see a person run around with like 10 different people, and it like, that they're not giving any one of those people like enough to really form an attachment. However, a lot of times you're in a connection with someone that is thinking about you, is giving you energy. So it forms the psychic cord, which is what makes the person very tired and weary. So it's like this, it forms attachment, and you say, why? Well, because this person has a low self-esteem. Makes me feel better. But why does a person have such a low self-esteem? Well, they could have grown up in an environment, that did that, or dated a bunch of people that made them feel that way. But most of all, haven't created themselves, as mainly coming from their experiences. And most experiences, when we don't have a ground, are failures, and where the person feels inadequate. And that's what I felt like. The person didn't create themselves. They don't know who they are. And so it doesn't mean that they don't have a job. It doesn't mean that they might have been married at one time. For some of you, it's a collective reading. Some of them have kids. That is not creating themselves. Creating yourself is when we're able to fill ourselves up with the passions of life, when we're really fulfilled within our life, when we feel like we have purpose. That purpose is what connects us to humanity. That is what helps us evolve into the highest state of consciousness, which is unconditional love, being the energy of love. No, this person's coming from a very low consciousness, which is, my passions. It's, again, whatever their ego. And if they need healing, clearly, but they haven't done it. So what happens is, when we don't do healing, we create personas, and those personas are the walls. It's not a real person. It's not an identity. So understand, if the person moves really fast, you're going to form an attachment because of how much energy you put into it. Because you're going to think that they're genuine, when really they're not genuine. And emotionally, you're going to form an attachment, because it's like the person is not going to give you emotionally back what you gave into the connection. and they're most likely not going to give you enough. They won't give you enough. So that's what makes it an attachment. And most people tend to get stuck in connections like that, which when a person is living from their lower energy. So right off the bat, the person didn't honor you. So this is what happened. And you just feel like they create a lot of unnecessary drama, that they're like a troublemaker. They destruction in their wake. They need to like stop paying so much attention to what you're doing and pay attention to what they're doing. I feel like this was a connection that your success triggered this person's inadequacies, like things that they needed healing. So what you had was somebody that didn't honor the connection, and they didn't honor the connection as a way that because they got triggered. And when we haven't created ourselves, we get jealous of other people's successes. Doesn't mean that this person didn't have feelings for you, but it's, again, that's the problem. When a person has trauma there and they're fragmented, they're going to project because they haven't healed. As I said, David, doesn't mean they haven't been in relationships, but collecting all that baggage. So we have to say, what type of relationship? What do they think now? What are they going to do? What's the whole point? I close my eyes and I imagine you're here with me. It feels so real. I'm beginning to understand this is what it means to be in the 5D with you. I don't think that this person never really understood spiritual language. And first of all, there's somebody that I feel is very logical, analytical, probably very business, very, very like just methodical, like a lot of masculine energy. Doesn't mean that they're a man, but just a lot of masculine energy. And so really tend to come from their ego. And this is a very strong spiritual connection, something that this person's never experienced. And I understand the universe would always bring someone like you into a person like this person's life. Not so that you can be with them. That's not the main reason. If you're with this person, great. But the universe says, no, this person needs to be taught what it looks like to live differently than from what they know. Because what they know, sorry about that, because what they know is limited. It's only from the experiences that they've lived. And, when we've lived through trauma, our life, we tend to live very, very safe, and we get tunnel vision. So this person is like, again, has a connection to you, and there is a spiritual connection. Otherwise, this person wouldn't care what you did. Remember that. It's like the fact that they have strong feelings. It's like they don't want to feel inadequate. They want you to perceive that they're wonderful. You know what I mean? I'm triggered, and old patterns has surfaced, and it hurts. So like I said, that it's not anything that you've done. It's who you are. It's the fact what you represent, what this person doesn't have, and the universe brought you into this person's life because there is love. Understand, the unconditional love is, I don't like this shit that you're making me feel, but I love you. I'm crazy. That's what they say, that a love is crazy, because you feel all different types of emotions. But there's a connection. I can't cut the connection. But it's like it makes me feel bad about myself because I'm judging myself. Where Spirit says, remember, no one should be able to make you feel anything. If they're making you feel something, unless it's happiness and joy because of what they're giving. I'm talking about if a person can't really make you feel bad unless there's parts of you that believe what they're saying. So understand, it's like that's what it is. You're the mirror for this person. So you say again, mirror is twin flame. That's always why there's a runner and a chaser. Because, wow, this is deep. And in the fact that it's deep, I got to go deep inside myself. And then on top of it, like, I can't take my eyes off of you because you're so different from me. Everything that I do, everything that how I live. Where this person may have a lot of money in the bank, but they're like kind of like a loner. They're kind of like, you know, they don't feel comfortable in their own skin. In order to, they have to create that persona, and you're very real. Please contact me. I may not respond, but knowing you care opens my heart. This person is insecure to contact you because I feel like they didn't give you enough time. They were again in this low energy of playa energy, and so didn't take you seriously. Wanted to form the attachment, so no emotional connection. And what happened is they wound up forming the emotional connection because spirit says they're not in charge of love. It's like love is the universe. Can't control the universe. It's like they're being ridiculous, and that and their whole idea of love is asked backwards. It's been wrong. It's like this person is like has created so many personas, but that they still have a spirit part of themselves. But again, it makes them feel, bringing up all those feelings of inadequacy, which is, I want you to contact me, and then I would feel confident to contact you. It's again very like, kind of like seventh grade. Don't tell Mary that I like her unless she says she likes me first. Then you can say that I like her, but don't say that I like her before, because I might melt. I might die. I might just drop dead on the floor. So we can't be that vulnerable. It's like we might just, will die. Why would you die? I'm going to get rejected. Well, why would you think that you were going to get rejected? Because that's what that person feels. But that's not today. That is what has happened. And this is what this person is still holding on to. This is the baggage that needs to be integrated. So again, otherwise they're always going to make you feel as if you're not enough. Again, because the persona of, I don't need you to come that close. But they're seeing synchronicities like your name or 111 and working out what they mean. I don't think that this person's normally spiritual. I feel like they're like, wow, every time I turn on the TV, the newscaster's name was your name, or in the TV program, your name was that main actor's name. So I had to hear your name over and over and over and over and over again. Like that. It's like they're seeing. And the reason why is because they're like, I don't want to think about you. But the thing is, Spirit says, you're not in charge. Like, the more that you try not to think about this person, the more you're going to think about this person, because the focus is on thinking about this person, because the universe doesn't listen. No, I don't want to think about this person. It just knows that there's a strong emotion and you're thinking about that person. So again, this person is feeling crazy, but it's mainly because the universe is saying, like, I just need you to surrender your ego, like those walls that you've created to cut yourself off from unconditional love, which is the energy of me, the energy of the universe, the energy of God, the energy of love. For you to really express it, like you're fragmented in the pieces. So again, there's a spiritual language. It doesn't make sense. So again, that keeps this person's mind like baffled, which is the person's very mental. We know that they overthink. They get in their own way. They have spiritual blocks that cut them off from love, right? So they get in their own way. So what does spirit do? Spirit's like, well, I'm just going to like show up in the subconscious mind. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. I'm going to come out and you're going to notice it everywhere. That because you can't get away from love. It's inside of you. But you've cut yourself off from me. But the connection back to you is through this person that you're connected to, that you can't take your eyes off of. See how the universe is sneaky? Always going to get you to do what it wants you to do. I've watched you change and grow so much. I'm trying to release my attachments to identity so I can change too. Yeah, it's again like Spirit saying, like, enough. You've been walking around with that identity, what, since you're 12? Since what? Like, again, that past relationship? Who told you that you're that person? You're not that person. You could have grown up in abuse where you're told you're nothing, you're no good, you're no good, no one's going to want you. Again, and that person began to live from that level of consciousness. I understand, didn't mean that they didn't want love. They didn't believe that they were deserving of love. Was it a conscious thought? No. It's again, it's just what they've experienced. They had never experienced, so they have held on to that and then kept living from that level. And Spirit's like this person's got to get a hold of themselves. But it's like I need for them to see what it looks like. I need to, because they're gonna stalk you, and like again, they're gonna be like staring at you through the bushes because God forbid they actually are transparent. They might melt. So again, fear. Again, you see the fear. You're like might not like me. It's like, or after what I've done. So again, so they stalk, and they're like, I like your life. And triggers. But what is it doing? It's making this person look at their life and think, why does my life look like this? And this person's life look like that? It's like where I don't think that they saw you for who you were, which they wouldn't if they were in player energy. They weren't looking at that. They were looking at being here for a good time, not a long time. They weren't meaning to catch feelings. Like I said, they weren't, that's not where they were. I'm not going to give in to fear. I know fear is only an illusion. But this person overthinks. Because again, strategize, survival, again, which is always triggered when you've been conditioned to, or have been in just one bad relationship, really. It doesn't take long to be conditioned if the trauma is bad. Being with a narcissist for 2 weeks, they can condition you to, like, again, just through a look, if you're not confident in yourself, that is, right? So remember, the wounding will always trigger a person where this person was not confident. They were triggered by you. But again, they have strong feelings for you. Surrender brings us together faster than resistance. Well, that's like a no-brainer. Maybe this person is realizing that they need to surrender. It's like that they're resistant. And part of that resistance is you need to prove yourself. You need to let me know that you have feelings. So if you're not going to show me that you have feelings, I'm going to create some drama so that, maybe you'll react and I can read through that. Do you see how exhausting that is and why the relationship doesn't work for this person normally? Because that's the way that they conduct the relationship. Like I said, they didn't know who you were. That's why they didn't honor you, but they wouldn't even know how to honor you. You're teaching them how to live and how to be respectful and in alignment with the laws of spirit, just because you're a spiritual person. It's like where this person doesn't know. It's like I said, it's like they're stalking you, they're watching you. We must remember that we are gods and goddesses and work to embody that energy. I don't know whether or not this person thinks any of this. If they're thinking it, it's more on a subconscious level, right? That love. It's all about love, really, because what is God? God really embodies the energy of love. That's all it is. It's an energy. That's it. We wouldn't know what God was. Again, you can't fathom it. So we talk about it through the higher consciousnesses, through, again, the high moral energies that are all derived from unconditional love. So embodying that energy through life. However, we all form these spiritual blocks that make us detach and disassociate from ourselves, reject ourselves. And then if you've created a persona, then that's part of yourself that you're not utilizing to manifest. So whatever you're going to manifest from that point of view too is not going to be of any worth, or you're going to see imbalance. It amazes me when we say the same thing at the same time or finish each other's sentences. I feel like this person again, so when they are spent, they actually do see you and talk to you. They talk a lot, like not texting. I'm saying when they see you. And so I feel like there's a connection where this person doesn't feel connected to anybody. They didn't I pull it out of tune? Yeah, out of tune. Like they don't fit in anywhere. They feel like they're a square, and so and they actually have a connection with you. Well, that's because there's a spiritual connection. So that's where the ego is not involved, where this person is normally in their ego. So I care about you even when I act like I don't. Like I said, like I'm hiding my true feelings because I feel vulnerable, which is what I'm saying. That's what the problem is. This is a person that has been rejected. This is a person that feels inadequate. This person that needs healing. So what you'll see is again that they're like stubborn. They'll even act like a narcissist, but it's because they're so imbalanced, and they're imbalanced because of how they feel about themselves. But this person has regret because again, of this is the only type of like connection that they know of, and it's because they're insecure. So you're like, where is this person? Well, they're in a place of victimization right now. They're in a place of hopelessness and bobbing into guilt, which they need to, in order for spirit to say for that person to surrender their ego. They need a timeout. And by you staying away from this person and not contacting them is good, because understand they would always want a reaction. Don't give them anything. It's like let them have to rise up and ask. Healing doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good for this person because whatever they grew up with, it's like, and then the patterns of, well, I, would say something to my parent and I would be honest and I would get screamed at, no matter what it was. And then I dated like whoever I dated, and they would scream at me when I would tell them the truth. So I was taught to lie. It's almost like that. It's like where this person is like, I get screamed at when I tell the truth, like there's consequences. So I don't like to tell the truth because so that means like even if this person doesn't need to lie, they're still going to lie. And it's because it's a condition to lie. It's just a condition. It's a habit. It's like, and it was a survival tactic. So you'll be like, who the hell are you? Like, why are you lying? So the person needs like deep healing. Doesn't mean that they don't love. It's that they have all these behaviorisms where they feel like they have to lie and create personas and masks that a relationship would never work, because underneath all those personas and masks is the fact that they feel empty to the point that you trigger them. They wanted to knock you off your high horse that they thought that you were on, when meanwhile you weren't on any high horse. You were just doing you, but you were doing it so well and seemed so good and confident at it, it made this person feel inadequate. And you say, and this person had feelings for me. It's like, yeah, that's the whole thing. If they didn't have feelings for you, they wouldn't have watched. but almost to a place when a person has feelings for you and they're not healed, they'll wish you don't excel because they're like, you'll move away from me. If you excel, you're going to get better opportunities, and then where will I be? I'll be in the left in the ditches. I'm going to slash all your tires. You won't be able to get far. And then I'll pretend that I didn't do it, and then I'll come to your rescue. I might even pretend to fix it. I'll even fix your tires. So I'll be the hero, but I can't see you succeed without me, because then where will I be? You won't want to be with me then, which does this person know? Has this person even had a conversation? No. It's like this is their imagination. So there's someone that's having a relationship with you in their mind through their imagination, through their wounds, because of what you might do, what you could do, instead of, really, if they were confident, they would know. They would really know. Please don't give up on me. I'm trying to change, but it takes time. Yeah, it's like this person's like molasses, because, after they have to go through all their emotions. It's like, first, I'm going to reject you. I was a player. I didn't know, I wasn't looking for love. And then it's, all right, well, now I have feelings, but I'm going to want things my way. And then, oh, you didn't allow that. Oh, and now you're disconnected and your life is moving on. Well, it's again, you're forcing this person to look at themselves. They did not volunteer. It's like they did not volunteer for the assignment. Like, this is what the universe said. Like, you need to. Their inner child are crying out right now. And understand, you both need to comfort them and become their parents. And it's because, again, like goes to like, you're a mirror of who and what comes into your life. So by this person not giving and holding back and feeling so inadequate, it's actually made you feel that way when you were attached to them, is what I feel. And that's why you, again, eventually just disconnected, because you were like, I don't want to feel this way. But when you did, well, what happens is that the person then feels the sexual energy between us, yet it's beyond physical attraction, but it needs to elevate to express of deep unconditional love. Right now, again, the person's in their ego. Spirit says this could be a twin flame connection, but this person, is like, they need healing, their inner child healing. But that's why it's, again, you. Well, I'm like, wow, this person, look at them. Their life is perfect. Their life is so great, but they're mainly imagining a lot in their mind. But there's attraction and there's a past life connection, and the person watches you from afar through the internet, wherever they stalk you. So they think that they know you. And in their mind, they say, you wouldn't want to be with me. It's like, I feel inadequate. It's like all those things. But the sexual energy of twin flame connection actually transmutes that energy. But this person is trying to rise up. Spirit's trying to rise up, rise, and it's like using you as one of the catalysts to help them, to help spirit, because spirit's like, this person is like, well, they were brought up in a certain environment that made them that way, and then they just kept accumulating the same karma. So there's a real belief and there's a fear behind that belief. We have past life connection memories are surfacing either consciously or subconsciously. And I told you, spirit is like, I got to get involved. It's like, so this person is having dreams, and again, all to help them heal, because, spirit's saying you don't have control, but there's a bigger reason to why you keep experiencing what you're experiencing. And there's a bigger reason to love. Like you're so tunnel visioned, like you're so like blocked from your experiences. Please send me energetic support. Use a frequency of love to uplift me because I need your help. And it's again, that's this person again. I'm not confident. It's like I want to do the right thing, but I don't know. Like I don't know. And you'll be like, well, what do I need to do? It's like this person like is looking for a sign. They're looking for a sign to see, like, would you be interested in me? Again, I'm going to tell you again. I'll tell Mary Sue I like her only if she says she likes me first. I told you already. That's the energy there. It's like, because I can't say that I like this person before they say it. When meanwhile, you're like, you're a grown man or a grown woman. And Spirit says, it doesn't matter. It's like, again, it's the rejection over and over and over and over and over and over. It's become a survival mechanism. You know, the ego is like, doesn't want that self-image, you know, it's important. Words have hurt me in the past, and that's why I fear talking to you. It's like, because again, they were told to be a liar. And so it's again, like I use the words are always used against me. Thank you, Britt. Like words are always used against me. So what we see here is that this person's really like in their healing. We are one. Don't let fear get in the way of this truth. Like this person's like, I know I have strong feelings. I do love you. I just feel like I'm not good enough for you. And I need not to let that fear, that belief get in the way. Because Spirit says, you're not good enough. You're absolutely right. You're not. That's why I brought this person into your life. Because I need you to rise up to that level. So you're absolutely right. You're not. But you can do something about it. And that's the whole point, Spirit's saying. They wouldn't even know what it looks like. I wish I could say what I really feel. Someday I will, but right now I'm afraid to be myself. Again, rejection, 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 all through this reading. So you want to know why this person's holding back? Will they ever figure it out? Of course, Spirit says, but you better not be staring at it because it's going to look like molasses. You know, the person has a lot of trauma. I'm doing my work, Spirit says. It takes time, you know. Are they ever going to do anything? Spirit saying like, yes, eventually you're gonna wait for the right opportunity. Maybe there's a gathering or there's gonna be something that I feel like it's not gonna be until like the summer is what I'm feeling. The way that this person's thinking and why I feel like celebration, like a party, a gathering, like for some sort of an event you may be at. This person, I don't feel like is confident to like come to your door. They would more or less try and bump into you. They would try and like, you know, talk to you in that way. You know, like I feel like you know they feel like they're gonna have to put in a lot of effort. They feel like it's gonna be when they feel strong enough to do it. And I feel like they'll get the stamina to do it. But again, they're going to tread lightly in the beginning because they're afraid. They're going to sense out. They need to sense out the like what you're feeling, which is why I feel like if they bump into you, they feel like it would be easier. This person is not really confident, but they are strong-willed, and they are like it is going to be like the most courageous thing that they do. This person, but you're the catalyst. I just said it. It's like, look, you're the catalyst. to like make this person heal. So are they confident? Do they know what it looks like? No, they don't know what it looks like. This is all intuitive. The logical analytical mind checked out a long time ago. It's like, because this person, like, I can't control it. It's like, I can't control it. I still have feelings, but it's like, but I don't really feel like I'm good enough. I don't really feel like you're like me. You probably might reject me. I don't I don't want to be rejected. So again, I'm going to wait for the right time. Like again, and this is going to be like more of an intuitive thing. Like I'll know when, and if it's twin flame, it's going to be in divine time, where spirit's like, yeah, this person's not like 100% there yet, and they're like, it's still in the phoenix phase, right? They're they set themselves on fire, and now they're the ashes, and it's going to take a little while for them to rise, but yes, eventually it's transformation, ascension. It's the end of that living in, I'm not confident. I don't think I'm deserving. I'm not good enough. I'm fearful, to again, to a beginning, ascension. It's alchemy. It's again, spirit says, what do you think relationships are for? It's like, person's a hot mess. It's like, what do you think? The universe just brings you good things like lotto and good times? No, it's going to bring you everything that you need to heal. That's the main objective, because your energy needs to be of unconditional love, to be the same energy as, the universe. That's your God-given energy. That's the energy that you have. But that's when you have so that you're a clear conduit for spirit to work through, right? So we don't have blocks and perceptions that distort us, So this is what this person is, going through this death, but they need to. And so, and to like almost like reclaim their power. Okay, that's really what spirit's saying, to reclaim their power is what spirit's saying, which is what had to happen. And then we see twin flame all over this, because look what I pulled: humanitarianism, uh, communication, compassion, which, by the way, twin flame were not taught compassion. Both people grew up in an environment that was a little rough, where they were not taught to be compassionate with themselves or other people. So they're overly sensitive to that. So the spirit's saying, well, we have to change the energy completely. And that's to get out of fear and into unconditional love. And it starts with service. It starts with service. You got to start somewhere, because the heart is closed. And so spirit's saying, it's through learning compassion. The relationship is really to alleviate suffering, but it's really also through that of, giving and receiving of love through service. And that could be whatever you're doing, like in your hobby that could connect you, or through your job, or through anything really. It's that connects you, because you're soulmates, like I said, and this is what it's about, spirit saying. So we know that you're supposed to be in this person's life, and vice versa. And we saw why this person, that you really influence this person, where you may not think that you influence them, but you influence them. See, you don't know, because they did a lot of their, stuff on the stalking, the stalking. So in their mind, like I said, they put you on a pedestal. But they're not going to show you that. Oh no, because that's going to show that I care too much. So I can't do that. And then, it's going to be, then you might ask me too many questions, and we can't have that. You see? So right now, spirit's saying things are going to stay a little unchanged, because they're still not ready, as spirit's saying. They're still, rising from the ashes, and that takes a little time. Where this person, like I said, is like right now, like it needs to overcome like being unemotional and controlling, and really like this person that has a lot of, again, business energy. Like they're quick-witted, they're very rational. Again, what did I say? Very, a lot of masculine energy. Doesn't mean that they're a man, but could be a little cold sometimes. And so right now they wouldn't be good. They're still in the energy that they were in. And that, like, if they were to see you, it doesn't mean that internally things aren't happening. They're just not ready to show them and express them like a human being does. So again, like I said, there's someone that's is very professional, like I feel like professional and does the right, like plays the part. I know the universe works in mysterious ways, but sometimes I judge the situation instead of surrender to it, which there we know because they ran from it, that it's they don't have a choice, and that's what I'm saying. So you have to say, well, then what the hell's the point for me? Because what we know that this person's gonna come back, they're just not now. It doesn't mean that you should be sitting around waiting for the water to boil either. It's more like, again, Spirit saying during the twin flame connection, a lot of the connection is done in separation because the energy cord of unconditional love is still felt. Both parties felt that love was conditional. Well, what they're being taught in separation, even though they're both triggered by the fact that there's a separation, is that love truly does exist and you cannot control it. It's like, and then you cannot break it, no time or distance. So again, that Spirit's like, that's first things first, is what the universe saying. It's like, you guys are twisted when it comes to my energy of love and what your energy of like is supernatural, the energy of God. You can't comprehend it, doesn't logically make sense. And just like how that doesn't make sense, well, I have a connection to you, and then, but why does it look this way? And Spirit's saying it's like, that's first thing. But then you have to say, well, then why, what am I supposed to be learning during this time? Because Spirit says, well, in my time, divine time, you'll be brought back together again. And if it's a real connection, you really will be with the person. Doesn't mean forever. A lot of times it's not forever because it's a difficult relationship. They're your opposite. That's why it's like, oh, my other half. No such thing as a half a person. Is that you're blocked where they have gifts and vice versa. So when you come together, it almost feels like they're your other half because you can bring out the best in each other or you can bring out the worst. So balance is always the key in the twin flame connection. The Spirit says, well, both were, brought up in an imbalance and they formed imbalances to survive, where one's very logical and analytical, very book smart, very cold, calculating, non-emotional, where this one is very intuitive and spiritual and creative and, so opposite energies. But God says, I am both. The universe says we are made up of both. It's like that's what it is. And you have both inside of you. You have imbalances though, and this person does too. And you can see again, because you triggered them. They made you feel bad. Well, why did they make you feel bad? And why did you attract this person into your life? What the hell is the point of this crazy relationship? And the Spirit says, well, let's look. Oppression, first card. These are your inner child wounds, okay? And so your inner child wounds, what we'll see is throughout your life, the same karmic themes play out. So we can see oppression, like where a parent just tried to keep you down, was like, no, don't try out for that play, or don't do this, or don't date, whatever it was. They oppressed you, and where you felt like you couldn't really thrive in the environment. And then you dated people, or you dated somebody that was very controlling and oppressed you. And then from that moment on, it was the same types of connections where I'm with people that are very manipulative and they try and like oppress me. They may not try to deliberately, physically hold me down, but they're holding me down by playing games, by again not allowing me to move forward. And this kind of person, kind of like I said, here for a good time, not a long time, was kind of not wanting you hooked, but didn't want to give you anything, and that's a form of oppression. Um, but optimism, I feel like again, you're someone that this is why this person really couldn't take their eyes off of you, because nothing that they did could trip you up. It's like it was almost like, you know what? Yeah, we have a connection, but I love myself more than I love you, and I will not tolerate not being respected, not being honored. I won't. Like that means the most to me. And this person was like is usually with a bunch of pigs. So I feel like it's with a bunch of people that like they really don't care. Where with you they really have respect. They're like, wow, that's how that was done. Wow. I wasn't expecting that. You see, we have a very strong connection, you know? And yeah, Mary Sue and John and Bob and Sarah, that well, they all do it the other way, that they're, they'll be with me and then I victimize them and then they're like betrayed. Oh my God, where you didn't allow that. It's like you walked away, you didn't participate. It's like, no, you showed them a different way. That's why they're still watching you. Like, where if that would have happened to them, where, or it has happened to them where they've connected to people and that devastates. You think you're going to be with somebody and then they drop you like it's hot. It's like, wow, where you were like, oh, well, on to the next. And this is where your magic is. See, the child that survives thrives through the imagination, through again knowing how to be a loner, knowing how to like entertain oneself, knowing how to love oneself because you had to. But your magic is, I feel like your spiritual gifts. And in that there's in essence where this person like really, like I said, notices it. But in this time I feel like you found your gifts where it's not so much about this person. It was about finding the magic inside of you because you were brought up by the same thing that this person was brought up, same type of environment where you were made to feel maybe that you weren't deserving of it. Like again, oppressed, held back. Where spirit says, if we're made to feel like we're oppressed and held back, then we're in a place of survival. We're not creating. If anything, it creates disassociation. So again, we're in the imagination. And as we just said, the child that survives thrives. So you again wound up accessing your psychic abilities, your sensitivity. Again, this energy is escapism. And that's why I said that your magic is the spiritual gifts. And that allows you to stay in this high vibration that no matter what's happening, you're optimistic, which this person tried to oppress you. That didn't happen. Because you already learned how to survive through like the worst. Because I say the worst because when you're a child and then that happens, or you're young and it's one of your first relationships and you survived it, it's a big deal. Rebellious. I feel like might have been seen as rebellious because you were different and because you went against the grain, and that was seen as bad. But I don't feel like it's bad. I feel like it's actually another gift. Loner, and that's what I said. You were a loner. It's like where it didn't mean that you didn't have friends, but you didn't let people go that deep, and you didn't mind having a lot of alone time, which happens with the psychic abilities and the imagination and that trauma. So there began a very rich internal life, which again, spiritually, that's how things are manifested. Look at Helen Keller. Everything was internal. I mean, she wasn't talking to people. She was through Braille, something that she created. So again, inside that psychic energy, which means again, you showed this person a different way to live. Oh, not so logical and analytical. Wait a minute, there really can be love? That doesn't make sense. The whole thing doesn't make sense. You know, it's like I know I've dated 1,000 people and it always looks like this. And then Spirit's saying says bring someone like you into their life, and they're like, that doesn't make sense. That you're not even my type. It's like it's crazy, but I can't control it. And that's because you don't need anybody. You don't need anyone. This person has commitment issues. So what you're saying is, and what you showed this person is, I don't care. You're with me or not. I'm gonna be in my magic. And this person's like, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. It's like, what's like, you're supposed to be devastated. You're not devastated. And then it's like, and you actually have a better life than I do. Why does my life look like this? And Spirit says, so your gifts came from your trauma. And so maybe you never saw that, and that this is love. But just like the environment that you grew up in is love, even though might say some of it was, extremely traumatizing, or how they showed love. Like they didn't show love. They were angry. They projected. And understand people that are comfortable around people, they project their hurt. So many parents projected their hurt onto their children because, again, I know you love me. It's a safe space. So it's like I'm crying out to you, and only you're like, no, what you're doing is you're projecting your crap onto me. It's like there was no spiritual help. And so what happens is, again, we can take on our parents' feelings of inadequacy and not good enough and pain. And that a lot of times happens. And that happens, and then you're not manifesting good experiences for yourself. You're manifesting through the wound. So what you're manifesting are experiences like this, where this person is imbalanced. They're not coming from their true sense of self, their higher self. They're coming from a fragmented place because of what has happened. And Spirit says, so were you when you met this person, because you didn't know what your magic was. You were optimistic when you were a loner, and you had imagination, but that's a whole lot of ingredients. But where's the cake? Like what was manifested. It's like you needed to ground that. And the Spirit's saying, and there was a reason why that was happening at this particular time. It's like it wasn't just for you to find your gifts, but it's to ground them. Transmutation is that you have to transmute your own blocks, as well as the twin flame comes together to actually transmute the really difficult blocks. Because again, you can't do it on your own. You were not taught compassion. You weren't taught unconditional love. Love was conditional. And the Spirit says, well, that's why, again, you guys were conditioned in the wrong environment. So I'm going to bring you, the twin flame can like bring you together. How else are you going to change? How else are you going to heal? You won't know what it looks like. Bright horizons, number 1. And number 2, busting chains. So we'll read busting chains first. Release limiting beliefs that no longer serve you to free yourself. So that's what's happening right now for you too, where Spirit's saying, you've been carrying around this baggage for a long time. It's like it doesn't even, it's like you're wearing your clothes that you wore in the 5th grade. It's like they don't fit anymore. That's not who you are. Like you got to let it go. and get a new persona of who you are based on who you are today. So you're not coming from your true self because you're connected to someone that's so inadequate that they're triggering your inadequacy. So Spirit says they wouldn't be able to do it if you didn't have core beliefs. In separation, you bust through those chains, and you did so by again finding your gifts. Why? To go on to brighter horizons, Spirit saying, to envision a future filled with potentials and opportunities, to see your own genius. You can only see your own genius when you create yourself, when you're becoming yourself. See, then the path unfolds. See, when the student is ready to teach your peers, we're not in charge of how we get there. We're only in charge through our imagination of what we want to create. We put out the energy the best way that we know how, but the universe always brings us better tools, better things that are going to help evolve us. Soul's calling, Spirit says, which of course, the twin flame connection, I should have realized. It's like, again, where Spirit says it's all about listening to the whisper of your soul and guiding you, aligning your actions and your values. And values need to be in alignment with the higher levels of consciousness of unconditional love, which is why you get your twin flame while you're on your soul's calling. The Spirit says, well, there's certain things that this person's going to help you transmute. There's certain things that you're going to teach them. Is again, and remember, the walk is balance, and it's all about unconditional love. However, sometimes it's not going to look that way. Sometimes it's going to look like you're both strangling each other. However, it is unconditional love. You'll be triggered, and understand you won't be able to control any of it. You won't be able to do any of it, and that is all about cleansing your energy. So right now it's spending time with yourself so that you're again clear, so that you can have the courage to act from a place of love instead of fear. And that happens through once you again have healed. You know exactly, like in separation, we go through our own healing. Like I said, so that we're at a high enough vibration to actually go into a twin flame connection. Otherwise, twin flame connection wouldn't work. You would be stuck in a karmic connection. And a karmic connection is just where both parties don't really have a want or a desire to evolve. And you say, well, the one person that gets hurt says, well, I did. And Spirit says, no, you didn't, because you jumped right back into another relationship. You didn't do your work. When there's separation, what you're seeing, and there's still love, the person's working stuff out in their mind. Is it singular thing that they do? No, the universe is helping them by, again, past life memories are resurfacing. Signs and symbols are happening in the universe. This person is thinking and they're healing. And like I said, and you are too, because Spirit's saying, well, you couldn't go into that connection with your core beliefs. You were giving too much away. And that's not good with stingy over there. They have a closed heart. You're lucky if you're going to get a tic tac. So you got to be confident and not be afraid, and know that this person is going to have a temper tantrum. That's what they did before. It triggers them. It made them jealous. But guess what? They didn't melt, and they still have feelings. They can't control it. It's like they're still sticking around. They don't like what happened. Oh, I don't like this, because they don't have control, but I don't like it, but I can't help it. It's like driving past the car accident. It's like, I don't want to look, but I can't help it. It's like, that's this person. It all is about loving yourself. Again, it all comes back to that where Spirit says, really, at the end of the day, the twin flame connection is that I'm helping you come back to your true energy of unconditional love. It's like so that you can manifest your own life. And then, yes, have a life together, but it's about you, like getting up to the energy. And that couldn't happen if you grew up in an environment that you both were taught. Unconditional love has conditions, and that's what mom and dad showed. Well, if I didn't do this, there was punishment. So Spirit's saying, and that's why you're getting that person. It's like because you want them to act this way, they want you to act this way. Oh, but you didn't act this way. Now you triggered me, and now you're showing me this, and now that triggers me even more. Now I'm angry, but I still have feelings, so I look like a crazy person. And it's like the Spirit saying they have to surrender. It's like it's all crazy in the beginning because it brings so many different emotions up, and person doesn't have control. They can't just shut it off. They can't just replace you with someone else because it's a twin flame. It's like it's different. It's a different feeling. There's a knowing, but the person doesn't mean the person doesn't try to replace you. So really, again, because they want to run from themselves, we're really Spirit's saying it's like it's time to cultivate a deep self-love with acceptance and compassion. Honor your true essence. But then this way, the person couldn't honor you because they didn't honor themselves, is what Spirit's saying. And on a level, you were expecting someone that weren't honoring themselves. You didn't notice that because you were too close up to the picture. You got sidetracked by the twin flame energy that is there. But hey, you meet them before their time. They're just a past life karmic. It's like past life karmic mate always has an opportunity to step it up to twin flame level. They're deciding to do it now. But Spirit says they're not ready yet. They're there again, but that's where they're going. And Spirit says that, but you weren't up to par anyway. It wouldn't have been good because you don't love yourself enough. Because why were you sticking to Bozo, waiting for Bozo to figure it out? Yeah, it's like a snail. It's like sitting there waiting for the water to boil. Because of the connection, Spirit said no. It's like what you should have been doing is utilizing your imagination to create yourself. That would be rebellious in a good way. Use your magic to create your life. It's again, no one's holding you back now. You can be optimistic. Be the loner. Go out like a child and find yourself, and then when you find yourself, feed the talent. Feed it. Be consistent. Don't abandon yourself, Spirit says. Someone comes into your life, you're going to abandon it. Again, past life, karmic mate is always codependent. Twin flames are not codependent. They've stepped into the best version of themselves. They're here to help each other. They've learned what they've needed to learn. They've mastered it. Is it perfect? No. Spirit says, well, it's kind of half-assed. We got Mary Sue over here. She, has a business, but she makes no money. She always undervalues herself. Always, barely scraping by. Very talented, very creative, very a genius, creative genius. But, went out, got the hair done, went out, bought a new wardrobe. Has no money though. It looks good in that business, but no money, And then we got this one over here that makes a lot of money, and they have bad character. They're cold. They're shut down. They're like, but they know how to make money just by looking at something. They have that touch, but they have no friends. Yeah, they're kind of cold and passion, and their heart's closed. Spirit says twin flame connection. The two opposite energies, polar opposites. Spirit says balance. Teaching you balance. You're too much yin. This one's too much yang. It's like it's going to require you to be fearless to transmute those blocks, turning that fear into fire. Fire is the rage, that pain, that suffering, and utilizing that as creative energy, Spirit saying, to bring forth something to help humanity, as we saw. All of a sudden, person's humanitarian. It's whatever it is to help humanity. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's like you're doing charity work. It could be like, well, we decided to open up a store, a health food store. It was this person's dream. It was this person's vision, but they're not a business person. They're gonna be homeless. They got great ideas, but they don't know how to manage money. It's like they do the best that they can. They steal from Peter to pay Paul and Robert and Anthony and Tony and Sarah and everything, because and this one. So I have to bring in the twin flame that's gonna teach them. And you know what? They're not gonna like it, because that person's gonna say they're cheap, they're stingy with the money. God, I wanted to go out and buy that sweater. It wasn't a big deal. The person's saying it's frivolous, and they're asking me where my numbers are. I don't know where the receipts went. Threw it out. I don't know. Like, taxes? What taxes? It's Spirit saying, I'm bringing this person in because you got issues. And again, this person's going to help you, but also understand they're going to get frustrated, because again, it's a different language. It's they're teaching you, it's easy, but through the act of unconditional love and teaching and sharing the talents opens the heart, Spirit says, because the person knows how great they are with making money. So they're like, this is where I excel. I get to see myself, feel good about myself. And I'm in the energy of love. Wow, this is fabulous. Spirit saying, exactly. Now we're talking. Get into your high vibrational light. And if you could do it for this person, I wonder who else you could teach, because you love to do it. But you were working at that hamburger joint. Hey, because you had to find a job. But see, the insecurity made you not even think that, hey, one day you could open up your own business. Again, to bring that person up to a different energy, to see themselves different. Otherwise, they would stay in the same energy. So we pull one more card to see what advice, because we're in separation, and we've been in separation for a while now, I have to say, because I've been doing a lot of readings and twin flame connections. But what we see is that they go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and the reasons why in separation. But eventually they're going to come together. And really, Spirit's saying, attention. I am attentive to all that manifests within me. When negativity rises within me, I transform it into light, love, and hope. My love for others is unconditional. I forgive. See, and that's the thing. See, my desire to improve is constant. I am firm, brave, and hardworking. But really, Spirit's saying the twin flame connection is to pay attention to like all those blocks, all those triggers, because all those triggers are where you cut yourself off from love, that need healing. Yes, this person is showing you that. It's like they're bringing that out, but it's about healing it, Spirit saying, and that it's about being in the energy of unconditional love. And you can't do that if you haven't forgiven. So if you grew up in an environment where, there was just parents that didn't make you feel loved or supported, or made you feel inadequate, not good enough. Like a lot of parents, bullies. My parent was a bully. And so again, because they were hurt, they were wounded. So again, not awake, traumatized. So when a person is traumatized, they act the way that their parent acted. It's like they project their fear and their bully. And to a child, a parent that's a bully is terrifying. It's terrifying. So Spirit saying is that, it's about forgiving and letting go, which is difficult, because a lot of times we wear that pain as armor. It protects us. It's like, no, I'm not going to let you in. No, I'm mad. It's like, how dare you do what you did? the wall goes up and spirit says they can't do that to you anymore. You wouldn't allow it. You're not the same person. You have to see it from a different perception. You have to forgive and you have to let go so that you can be a clear conduit for spirit to speak. Love, unconditional love, is there's no expectation, there is no ownership. We forgive, we have compassion, we move into the higher levels of consciousness. And that's why, you know, you see two people in separation healing what they need to heal, and then spirit saying during that time, this is what's got to happen. The attention to how you're triggered, and to forgive, let go, so that you can manifest clear. Like otherwise you won't, and everything turns to light. Work to improve yourself. Embrace all that life brings to you and transform the darkness into light. You're getting it again, pretty much the same words. Allow yourself to grow and become stronger. So the spirit keeps saying that's what's happening right now. And affirm, listen to yourself and acknowledge your own needs. Assert yourself and retain your power. Be brave and gentle. Don't have to be afraid of others. Respect yourself and am respected by others. So again, learning to just be strong within yourself at this time is what Spirit's saying. And you do that by becoming aware of your triggers and by working on the things that you need to work on for yourself. And that's, I would say again, anything within work, because this person is coming in, and when they come in, it's going to be divine time, and most likely it's going to be after things are happening in your career, things that, or again, to help you with something within your job, or something that you're creating. Because again, twin flames do that. They come together to they wouldn't be able to learn how to compromise, how to, again, do the things that you do when you're taught in an equal give and take relationship. Both parties were taught to bow down, to not think as well for themselves. So the focus is again on what they're both creating, not on their inadequacies. And both are bringing their talents to the forefront so they're able to see themselves in a different way. And Spirit says, and they're learning what unconditional love is through the act of creation. That's what transmutation is. And sometimes those wounds are just too deep that Spirit says this is why there is twin flame connection, because you wouldn't know. Now you don't have control over it, first of all. And that's really funny. Like I said, that with the masculine mind, that ego is like, I can control love. I don't need love. And then they surrender. It's like, again, they surrender and come to their knees like, wait a minute. It's like they change. But they change mainly because of who you are, the energy that you bring, the difference, and you admire them too. Thing is, sometimes when you evolve to a point, then it's usually what that person excels in that usually irritates you. Like if you're like a bubbly person and always like to go out, when this person gets to a point where they are more interactive in going out, then that all of a sudden it's not as appealing. And it's mainly because now it's like still over the top and they still want to do it now. They want to do it their way. They're comfortable in doing it. They're not just living in their imagination. So that's why a lot of times twin flame connection doesn't last forever, because it can be very tumultuous. Look at Ike and Tina, and the list goes on. It's like, it's a hard connection, but it's full of passion and you create magic. But it's really your magic through your vision, through the imagination, which you've always had. So I'm going to leave that there, Virgo. Thank you for sharing your energy with me. Anyone have any questions? Let me read your things. Thank you. Thank you, Lori. And A psychic and spiritual connection which was not honored. Yep, that's exactly what it was. It was not honored for many, and that's what it looks like. Narcissist. And we pulled that, Diane. That again, the person brought that energy, and that's a shame. But understand, usually the twin flame usually does foul it up, and then it does run and isn't accepting of it, which is why, again, when they come back, they're coming back with their tail between their legs and their ego is surrendered. And that's because they know that they've ruined it. And they're afraid because it's like, well, I didn't really think. And this is when the runner then becomes the chaser and the chaser becomes the runner. Like it's like it flips because now you're like, I'm disgusted. Thank you. And this person didn't mean to take it there, but now in order for them to fix it, they're going to have to come in and offer something. And what did we know? That they were stingy pants. So Spirit says, well, not today. In order to pass the toll, you're going to have to dig into those pockets of yours and give a little something. And then whether that's time, that's energy, that's show something, give something, do something. So it's important. All right, guys. Thanks for sharing your energy with me. And thank you, Myers Holby, again, and Sherry. All right. Bye, guys.